So good morning. Thank you for having me. Such great initiatives that I heard this morning. It's wonderful to hear scientists do all that and much more. My name is Victoria, and I am the sustainability officer of the company of biologists. And I'm here today to kind of give you a hint and an idea of what we think is sustainability in events and how you can make your event more sustainable, even if it's in person, a virtual, a hybrid event. I'm not going to bore you with a lot of details because I already know time is precious for everybody. I'm just going to give you an overview, and hopefully, if you have any questions, you can either write them on the chat or ask them live in the end. So let me start by giving you a small overview of what the Company of Biologists is. We are a non-for-profit academic journal publisher. We have 5 journals: the Journal of Development, of Cell Science, Experimental Biology, Disease Models and Mechanisms, and Biology Open. But we also offer grants, scientific meeting grants, small meeting grants, traveling fellowships to scientists. And we also help with networking events and making sure that we host workshops and meetings. You can find a lot about it in our webpage, www.biologists.com. And what I joined the Company of Biologists for. So I joined the company back in 2020 to launch the Sustainable Conferencing Initiative. This initiative is about helping our community and helping scientists and biologists, but of course, all scientists in general, to create more sustainable events, either by helping them learn more about actual sustainability, environmental footprint, social inclusivity, and things like that, or by helping understand all the new technologies that are out there for virtual and hybrid events, like different platforms, different communication methods, and things like that. So what do we offer? We have a very comprehensive website that has different blogs with how to post and best practices posts and things like that. But we also offer sustainable conferencing grants, which is up to £2,500, British pounds. And this is to help scientists create more sustainable events, either to help them financially, with a different technology they might choose, different platforms and things like that, or by actually having an innovative idea when it comes to reducing emissions, reducing waste, and things like that. Also, on the website, we have a discussion forum that anyone can join, and you can go on there, ask your questions, share your thoughts, and hopefully communicate with each other, because sustainability is something you can't really do alone. So event sustainability. What is event sustainability? Well, basically, according to the Event Industry Council, it means taking action to preserve natural environment, promote healthy, inclusive society, and support thriving economy. So basically, it's about creating an event that also thinks about the environment, the society it is in, but also leaves the legacy for the future, as we say. So basically, for us, it's 4 steps that we need to remember when it comes to sustainability events. First of all, you need to plan, as we all do when we organize events. We plan things in advance, and we plan very comprehensively what we want this event to include and who wants to participate and things like that. So it's the same with sustainability. You need to plan and make sure that you think about your event sustainability in each step of the way, from when choosing what type of event you want to where you're going to host it and how many people are going to be there. The second thing is always to communicate. It's important to communicate to everybody, your attendees, your suppliers, your co-hosts. It's important to communicate why you want sustainability to be part of organizing an event and what are your steps, what steps are you going to take to reach your sustainability goals. As I've already mentioned, sustainability is something that you can't do alone. So communicating what you want to see as a result will help you down the line to make sure that everything is in place and you can, reach the goals you've already set. Of course, adapt, which I guess it's part of everyone's daily lives now. You need to adapt and you need to make sure that all the sustainability things you want for your event have a backup plan because you have to be prepared for the unexpected. So definitely make sure you do have backup plans and you do have lots of different ideas. And here comes feedback. Feedback is always important. I feel we all do that, even, um, for our science, for our research, we always need feedback, and we need people to be very polite, but at the same time, very honest about how they feel. So making sure you have feedback from all the stages of organizing your event, from the beginning of organizing it to actually hosting it during the day, and of course, afterwards, getting clear feedback from your participants, suppliers, organizers, and also make sure you, in a way, connect with other people so that when they actually do something about sustainability, they can share it with you and you can decide whether it works for you or not. But feedback should be, in a way, at least my personal opinion is feedback should be incorporated in all three. Uh, Always the same thing with my slides. So, of course, we all know that events have an environmental impact. Practically everything, unfortunately, everything has an environmental impact. And the bigger your event, the larger your environmental impact is going to be, because you always have more things that are actually contributing you, not only your CO2 emissions, but your waste and everything. So what are the four main areas that we need to look into when we create an event so that we make it more environmentally friendly and, of course, more inclusive? So the first and the most commonly discussed area is traveling. You need to make sure that you understand why you're doing an event and how okay you are with the emissions coming from traveling, because we all know that flying half the way around the world is actually extremely polluting. So traveling, as an organizer, you need to understand that if you choose to do an in-person event, this will come with a higher footprint. So what you can do about traveling is making sure you are in a place that is easily reachable by train, preferably bike or walking. So connections and a good location is how you manage to, to lower a bit your footprint, but also making sure that during the days of your event, there isn't much traveling, so that you can minimize as much as possible the footprint of each day, because at the end of the day, you have people flying in, so you should be careful. The second area is actually food. And by food, there are a couple of things that we usually take a good look into. First of all, you need to try and work with your catering or your venue to choose locally sourced food from local suppliers. That means less food miles for your actual food. So that's like a lower footprint, as we say. But also you need to think about exactly how many portions you really want per day, because we tend to overestimate how many people are going to come and eat and how much food they're going to consume. And this, some research out there actually state that it's like a 15 to 20% of overestimation, which is quite a lot. And of course, as a very good option at the end, you can always work together with local initiatives or international initiatives about what you can do with the food, the surplus food, the food left after each day of the event. You can either give it and share it with other people in the building, with other people in the same organization, or with, of course, linking with local initiatives. I am so sorry about this slide thing. I thought I already stopped it, but hey, I didn't. And the other area we need to look into is collaterals. So collaterals is quite a large area, and I know I'm being very broad, and I'm sorry about that. I couldn't find a good way to, to say, to include everything in one word. So I just used collaterals. So with collaterals, we mean promotional items you get by when you are in an event, like pens, papers, and things like that. It would be great if we could just skip all that. But if you can't, just keep it to a minimum and make sure everything is actually environmentally friendly. There are very good alternatives out there. for cups, for pens, for pods, and things like that. But we also include in this area, we include the things we give out as organizers for every day. Like, for example, printed PDFs, sharing articles, and things like that. And now we are in the 21st century, and after this pandemic, we actually have so many different ways to share all these things that we need people to read, share them digitally. So I would strongly suggest you go for either a page online, either in your already made up website for your event, or as we've recently actually tried, and it was a great success. We actually created an app to use during our event, and we had all the collaterals in there, agenda, meeting details, articles you had to read, bios from the speakers, and things like that. And it also included a way to communicate directly with other participants. So it saves you a lot when it comes to CO2 emissions and your footprint. And it also makes it easier for attendees to have everything in the palm of their hands. And of course, waste, which actually waste includes, of course, as we already mentioned, food and collaterals, but also making sure that you have a waste management system. If you have a venue, you could always work with them about waste, work with them to have specific bins for recycling, cans, glass, and things like that. I know it sounds a bit silly because we all know what recycling means and we all do it and things like that. But there are a lot of times that when you visit an event, you really don't have a lot of the options that you have in your own organization, in your own building, and things like that. And the clearer you actually communicate that to the venue and to your attendees, the better your actual waste at the end is going to get. So you will have half the amount of waste if you actually make sure you communicate what your attendees should be doing. This is the slide that really wanted to be shown to you for almost 10 minutes now. So this is just me summing up, because I know there are a lot of things that as an organizer you can't really know, what you can't really predict. So basically, I just wanted to give you like 7 steps that could help you build the sustainability in your events. First of all, make sure it's part of the decision-making process, because if you start early with it and you plan with it, then you can manage whatever comes your way. Don't forget to learn from your previous experience and make sure that whatever worked for you or for others can be incorporated in your event. Of course, traveling is a huge part of your footprint. So managing that in a sustainable way will make your event more sustainable. And you can always think about virtual and hybrid events. Make sure you have good locally sourced food that helps you with that footprint. And as I mentioned recently, waste is really easy to manage and really easy to fix and set up. Communicate everything to everyone. Even if they don't come to your event, they should at least know that you're doing something, because it will help them in the future. And of course, go digital as much as you can. It's really easy. It's much more, much more environmentally friendly, of course. And it's easier for a lot of other people to not carry a huge bag of things and huge bag of printed material. And of course, since we have already mentioned it, virtual and hybrid events. We already know whatever we do out there has a footprint. And it is important to understand that you now have the option to choose to not do a solely in-person event. You can go hybrid and you can go virtual. And these are great options. There are lovely platforms out there. I'm already, I'm already in a hybrid event, so you already understand how great it is and how how well we can get connected without being there, without upping our environmental footprint individually and as an event, right? So we have to keep that in mind. It offers flexibility, it lowers your environmental footprint, it might give you valuable data so that you can understand how your attendees really want the event to be and things like that. But we need to be careful. There's no such thing as zero environmental footprint. So going virtual or hybrid, it's not that you have a zero footprint. I guess you already know that. I just wanted to make sure that I say it and I say it out loud, because I am all pro virtual and hybrid events, but we need to understand that there is energy consumption coming from the servers, from the individual laptops used, the equipment, and then if you're in a hybrid event, you also have a footprint on site that you need to manage, going back to food, waste management system, miles, traveling, and things like that. So it's not zero, and we need to ask ourselves why we want an event to be either in person, virtual, or hybrid, and take it from there. And of course, in the future, I feel like I really hope actually that as we progress with having these types of events, virtual and hybrid, we will manage their footprint, their much smaller footprint, much better. So we're going to have a few more information and a few more researches out there about energy consumption from servers, how we can measure it, how we can make sure that whatever servers we use or how our equipment can become more sustainable. So my last thing, which I hope I didn't bore you that much, is basically just to tell you that however the future might be, we really need to understand what we want out of an event, and we really need to change the way we feel and we see things, not only as an organizer, because I've been to practically all sides of an event, right? I've been an organizer, I've been a speaker, I've been an attendee. We need to look at it with a fresh pair of eyes and understand that, I mean, this is a bit of a cliche, but it's urgent. Climate change is real. It's very much real. And things are really urgent. And although we are in academia a very small percentage of the emissions out there and the carbon footprint that we have in our meetings might not seem that big compared to other industries, but we do have a footprint. And it's, high time we actually make sure we minimize it and we take good care of what we do, because somebody needs to lead the way, and scientists are very good at leading the way and really good at taking the heat when something new comes out. And we should try and change our habits individually and as a group so that we can move forward to a new way of doing conferences and networking, because I get it, virtual events don't have the same networking options, and it's a bit impersonal, and it's a bit tiring. Zoom fatigue is real, but we need to take it seriously now, because we are very much at the end of the line here. And if we change individually our habits and how the way we network and the way we discuss with each other and the way we participate in events, I feel a huge change is going to become real finally, and we're going to see the results. So hopefully you didn't fall asleep or anything with me just babbling about sustainability. But basically, I just wanted to say thank you for having me. Thank you for doing all these great initiatives, because I've heard a lot about Max Planck and your network and everything like that. We do have a website if you need to visit and find more information. It's up there, sustainability.biologist.com. Of course, we have a Twitter because we like tweeting, but we also have an email. So if you have any questions about your events and sustainability in general, do email us, and we'll do our best to help you in any way. Yes. So of course, my slides are before me. Thank you so much, and let me know if there are any questions now.